Hey friends, I know that some of you guys are entering into this growth phase with communicating virtually. And most of your in person, both social meetings and business meetings, are now happening remotely. So we are all trying to keep business afloat. We're all trying to stay connected with a sense of community. So after about 10 years of working remotely and being trained with some of the best tools and best facilitators in the market, I thought that I would share some tips with all of you guys as you get ready to have all of these meetings, both professionally and socially, online. So these are not my tips. I have graciously stolen them from people much smarter than me, but they are all tips that I have been using a lot over the past year, but throughout my career. So these are not technology tips by any means. This is something that is going to be really hard to keep up on because I feel like organizations are doing a really great job at offering free resources in our time of need. So if you're looking for some technology tips and tricks, that's not what this is about. This is about the human element and communicating online and still keeping that personal approach. So these tips are going to fall into two buckets. Number one is transparency. That's going to be really, really important. And then the other one is to have fun. So here we go. There are 6 tips. The first one seems simple, but don't underestimate turning your camera on. This is going to be really important. Sometimes a text is best, or an email is best, or a phone call is best, but as we continue to work from home and be in isolation to stay safe, turning on your camera makes all of the difference. It does 2 things. Number one, as an attendee, it increases the retention of the information that you're getting from the other person. And number 2, as the host, this is going to increase accountability that that person is actually paying attention to you. So can't under stress the importance of just turning your camera on. Number 2, I've learned this one the hard way. Do not ask open-ended questions to the group without directing them to somebody specifically. So you will get one of 2 things happening if you ask an open-ended question to a broad group. Is you are going to get radio silence and nobody is going to want to answer your question depending on the personality of your audience. Or number 2, you're going to have a million people talking over themselves and you're not going to be able to understand what the answer was. So don't do that. Don't ask open-ended questions. If you are hosting a meeting, something that I recommend is to print off the roster or have a list of people that you're anticipating that are going to be on this video conference. And don't just call them out by name because that increases a little bit of anxiety, like, ooh, I feel like Nancy might call on me at any given time, but give them a heads up. So if you pose a question to the group, say, Nancy, I would love your thoughts on this. Ask the question, leave a moment, and then that gives that person an opportunity to collect their thoughts. So do not ask open-ended questions without directing them to somebody, but don't just call on people by name. Give them a heads up to reduce anxiety. So the third thing is to really embrace the unexpected. This is a culture thing and a mindset thing. Let's all be gracious. Let's all be understanding and flexible. So if a kid comes into the screen, or a cat's tail goes across the screen, or technology fails you, like I said, just be gracious, be flexible, and really embrace it. Your audience is really going to respect that. So definitely embrace the unexpected. So the next one is optionality. This is really going to feel like they have a voice, because let's be clear here. If we needed an answer to a question, or if we had to have a meeting, we could easily go on YouTube and be talked at and get that kind of instructional dialogue that we're looking for. But if we want more of a two-way dialogue, then we want to give our audience some options. So this could be little things like, what time do you want to start the meeting? How do you want to communicate? What should the topic be? Whatever it is, just make sure that you are letting them have a choice so that they feel involved, not kind of talked at. So definitely give them optionality. The other thing is timing is everything. And in this virtual setting, it is so hard to respect the boundaries of personal time versus work time versus social time, whatever it is. You know, people are working at all hours of the night, and people are looking to connect at all hours of the night. And so if you are hosting a meeting, making sure that you manage the clock and be respectful of people's time is going to be important. So you know, make sure you start on time, make sure you end on time. Some folks are going to be back to back on video conferences during this hectic time. And some people, frankly, are going to have personal responsibilities like dinner that needs to be cooked, or kids that are calling for them in the background. And that's really important that you respect that as a host. So a couple of things that I like to do are to just weave it into my conversation when I'm hosting a meeting. So for example, you could say things like, hey team, we're about halfway through our time together, want to make sure that we finish up on what needs to be discussed. Or you could give them a 5-minute warning and say, hey everyone, we have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else that we need to address? So go ahead and weave that into your conversation throughout in as much of a natural way as you can. That type of transparency on the timing boundaries is going to be really helpful, and people are going to feel well respected. The last one, 6, I saved this for last, gamification. What do I mean by gamification? Once again, this is not a software or an app or a widget or a website. This is literally just bringing the fun in a virtual setting. So a couple of examples are to have them stand up or raise their hand or give a virtual high five or a virtual thumbs up instead of using the raise your hand feature in the technology or whatever it is. Get the blood pumping, get them moving. The other thing is to maybe ask them to wear something fun or funny, especially if you're meeting with the same folks over and over and over and over again throughout the week. This can get really redundant and repetitive. So maybe say, hey everyone, on Thursday, we're all gonna wear tie-dye, or on Friday, make sure you bring your favorite hat. And so that makes it fun and makes them look forward to joining yet another video conference. Another one that I like is BYO anything. BYOC, I have my coffee mug somewhere, here we go. Bring your own coffee mug. And maybe you can do a little bit of a show and tell on why that's your favorite coffee mug or your favorite water glass or your favorite pen or whatever it is. I happen to love owls, I always have. Reminds me of where my wisdom comes from. So, you know, BYO, whatever, that makes it fun as well. And then last but not least, if you can, leave time for some physical activity. I don't know about you, but I have literally been sitting in a chair for at least 9 hours a day. And so leave some time to do some stretching or some meditation, or even integrate a jam session, We Are the Champions, or something fun like that. Once again, get the blood pumping. So I hope that this has been helpful. Once again, I know that there weren't a whole lot of technology tips in here, and frankly, it's because I can't keep up. I really think these organizations are doing a great job giving free resources. So make sure you continue to Google what's available to us in this time of need. But if you're looking for that human element, I hope that this has been helpful. So stay safe, everybody. Don't forget to wash your hands, and God bless all of you.